Welcome back. And we have some new music, courtesy of Tim Mulligan. We got the women coming on the show today, so we spice things up a little bit. We are here this morning with Jessica Winkelhausen, owner of Winks Fitness and Wellness Studio. She is an international pro fitness athlete, fitness trainer, health and wellness expert, life coach, and the co-founder of her newest venture, Fitcation. How you doing this morning, Jessica?
I am awesome. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I appreciate you bringing your friends with you, and we're going to hear some entrepreneurial stories. But let's start with you. Tell us about your background, and what are you doing as an entrepreneur?
All right. Well, 3 years ago, I opened up my own facility, Winks Fitness. I've been doing it on the side, training clients for a long time. My story really goes back to an emotional state. I had lost my mom to breast cancer, and fitness was the only thing that really made me feel better. At the time I worked at Intel in Folsom, I was managing worldwide accounts, and I was, 27 years old. I don't want to do this anymore. So I kind of ventured off. I had no idea what I was doing, like opening a business, what it took to run a business, sales, any of that. I had no idea. So it's been like a learning lesson for me.
So you're going through a tragedy, and at that time you decided to take all that emotion and put it into a business.
Yeah. I just felt like there is no more. That is rock bottom. When you lose a mom, like that was my foundation for everything that I knew then. And I was also fighting the state of California for custody of my little sister. She was 11.
Oh, my God.
So I was just going through all these things, and nobody could relate to me. And unfortunately, they want to prescribe something to you. And that doesn't work because it takes you even further away from what you have to get back to. So I just learned through reading, really, to be honest with you, that I had to walk through it in order to own it and be able to survive it. Otherwise, it was going to own me, and I didn't.
So what did you read? Were you reading fitness books, or were you reading books about learning about you and what's inside Jessica?
Yeah, it was more about me. Brene Brown is one of my favorite authors, and she just talks about being able to voice that. So like if we were talking back then, I probably wouldn't have said anything because I would have been afraid that you were going to judge me on where I was at in my life, instead of being like, I'm in this right now and it's extremely uncomfortable and I'm scared and I feel lonely and all of those things. I just didn't have those tools to have that conversation. So I didn't attract what I needed to in order to heal. And really what it took for me is I started to interview like Buddhas, pastors. I just needed it so badly, and it just kind of sparked my spiritual healing.
So now you've are helping other people that are facing maybe something similar, and helping them through becoming physically fit and emotionally fit. Tell us about your business.
Yeah, so Winks Fitness is built. I work with competitors. I have everyday clients, but really what it is for me is that it gives me the opportunity to change somebody's day in the matter of training them in 50 minutes. And it's all about the environment that you provide. And I think that we're up against so much negativity during the day, right? These people come in from their jobs, from their families, and a lot of those situations are extremely broken and negative. And so my biggest focus is that when you walk in my door, it's about positivity. It's about giving me everything that you have. It's about knowing that you have the ability to shift that negativity through your body and walk out the door at the end of the night or in the morning feeling good again. It's like a reset. And I always say that when you do that for somebody, you're giving it away. Go out and give that positivity to someone else. It becomes infectious. You know what I mean? Because they go home, they're a better person in their family. They go to work, they're better energy for their workplace. So I just feel like the language is what really makes me different.
So how do you teach? Is there a certain methodology that you employ?
We focus on muscle training with weight training. So a lot of women are like, I don't want to get bulky.
Yeah.
That's not what we do. I'm not in there lifting 100-pound weights. Very rarely do I lift more than 12 pounds on my arms. It's about how many reps we do, what we're partnering it up with. So we're focused, every day in there is focused on a muscle group. For instance, Mondays are leg days. This week we've been doing 100 repetitions on everything that we do. So it's a little bit different. You're not going to probably do 8 different things if you're doing 100 reps on everything. So the rotations might be
So you confuse the muscles to get the better training.
Yep.
And so entrepreneurship, what do you think the most difficult issues facing women entrepreneurs are today?
Man, that's a great question. If you didn't see my post last night, number one is the balance. So I have a baby at home that's going to be 2. And when I opened my business, I was actually pregnant and I was leaving the corporate space to go into doing my own thing. And I feel like guilt is probably the number one thing for me. If I'm at home, sometimes I'm distracted and I feel like my clients suffer a little bit because I'm trying to not be involved on my phone. And if I'm at work and I'm working the long hours and I feel like I'm not being all of the mother that I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, you have a little boy.
I have a little boy. Yeah.
How old is he now?
He's going to be 2 on the 19th.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that is a handful. You got how many businesses? I mean, it's a lot of businesses, there's a lot of irons in the fire. And before we go to the break we start the burpee challenge that people are talking about, tell us about Fitcation. That's your newest venture, and that sounds really cool.
Yeah. So I'm super excited about this. I actually have partnered with Jennifer Herman, Rhea, and then Eve Overland. Eve Overland, just to kind of put it out there, she's actually on tour right now with Carrie Underwood. She's Carrie's personal trainer.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we're very business-minded. A lot of people look at trainers and think that all we do is work out. And I'm going to be very honest with you. That is not all that I do. That's actually a sliver of what I do in the day. And if you follow me at all on social media, you'll see my workouts happen in a garage at home after the baby's asleep. And I feel like it's okay to take some time for myself. And so Fitcation is kind of about being able to go to a destinational place like Costa Rica, for example, and being able to get away, recharge your batteries. But a lot of times I see clients come to me and they are getting in shape for the vacation. Then they go to the vacation and they get out of shape.
They eat and drink and do all that crazy stuff. They never exercise.
No quality, no balance. And they come back and they're like, man, I need another vacation.
They leave with the bikini body and they come back with a different kind of body.
Yeah. So we've created a place where you can go and you can pick from the things that you want to do, from yoga to meditation to intentional writing, journal writing, fitness training, running, and getting like the coaching from, people all around the world that are going to be here. We'll have guest trainers that come in, and we'll have high-end people that will actually come to these Fitcations and enjoy some time away. You can bring your family to some of them. Some of them will be only women retreats. It'll be really about positively empowering your life. So when you go back, you can go back to the busy lifestyle that you've left behind and pick up and go.
All right. Thank you, Jessica. And Jessica has brought some entrepreneurial friends coming up in the show. You will meet Krista Clark, co-owner of Kaufman and Clark Plastic Surgery. And when we come back, Jessica will have performed a large number of burpees, and we'll tell her story as we talk to Krista. This is Entrepreneurs Unlimited on Facebook Live, broadcasting from Sports 1140, KHTK, streaming live podcast on YouTube at haneybiz.com. All right, welcome back. We are here with Krista Clark, co-owner of Kaufman and Clark's Plastic Surgery. How you doing today, Krista?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for coming down on a Saturday morning.
Thank you for inviting me.
Spending some time with us. Now, if you hear some heavy breathing right now, that would be Jessica. Jessica's sitting to my left. She just did how many burpees, Marcus, was it? 34 burpees in 45 seconds. And after the next break, or during the next break, I'm going to attempt to come close to that, and we will see what happens. And maybe I will beat her. We'll see.
Give me a run for my money,
I
Mark.
am a CrossFit enthusiast. So now, Krista, thanks for coming down. Tell us about your business and what you guys are doing over there at Kaufman and Clark's.
So I am a board-certified plastic surgeon. I've been in practice 11 years with Dr. David Kaufman, who I met at Stanford during my residency.
Wow.
I met him as an intern. He was my chief resident and bossed me all over the place. But we offer a variety of services from facial surgery to body surgery and non-surgicals as well. My focus is mainly breast and body. This is my passion. I love changing the lives of my clients.
Well, I want to talk about breast and body just in a minute. But you're at Stanford going through your residency, and then you and the teacher, you and the resident doctor, decided to go out on your own to do your own business.
Yes. In a nutshell, it didn't happen overnight. Both Dave and his wife Kate worked on me for a year or so. I wasn't really interested in moving from the Bay Area to Sacramento. I really had no idea what was up here. I thought it was all cows.
What do you think today?
Oh, I love it. I grew up in Michigan. This really closely resembles where I grew up. It's very family oriented, an easy place to live, accessible to Lake Tahoe, Napa. I absolutely love it.
Now, in your plastic surgery business, so you're helping is it mainly women to shape their bodies so that they feel better about themselves?
Yes, I think the majority of my clients are women. I would say probably 85 to 90%. The growth for men though is there, whether it's weight loss patients or men looking at body contouring. Yeah.
Okay. And what would a man go in for? What would he be looking at? Would that be just like get rid of his belly fat or something?
Liposuction is the most popular. Male breast reduction, very, very popular surgery.
Calf implants? Do we ever?
Aside from one of my employees asking about that, no. I've never actually even seen that surgery. So, I want to draw Jessica in on this. I really believe in building that muscle. I would not want to put an implant in for a calf.
Yeah. So Jessica, help us to bring out the story here and let us know how you and Krista met and how you guys are helping one another.
Yeah, so I met Krista. I actually have girls in my studio that wanted to get their boobs done, breast augmentation. And I went out to interview like the 3 plastic surgeons in the area that I thought were the best. And funny enough, back when I worked in radio, I tried to get her business and I couldn't get it. So I'm like, well, I'm going to go back and see her. So I went back in and talked to her and let her know that I had some clients. And she was like, gosh, I'm looking for a trainer. So I wasn't expecting that. And I was like, okay. So I gave her my card. I didn't really think anything of it after that. And then we connected. And since then, she's been servicing my clients. And it's great for me because I know recovery time. I know what they can and can't do. A client will come back in and tell you what they want to do.
Yeah.
And I can obviously have a relationship with her where I'm like, where are we at with this client? What can I do with them? So it's worked out really well.
How does your business help shape people's self-esteem?
Well, I see many women that come in after pregnancy. I think this is the biggest one, with excess skin on their abdomen, with breasts that look deflated and sad, and they don't feel sexy. They've lost their mojo. And I think what I do is help them, believe in themselves again, to, be proud of their body. I find many women pre-op, they will be wearing things like camouflage. After 6 months, they're wearing more fitted clothing and feeling really good about themselves. And to me, that just makes me feel good inside.
Your business is growing. It's obviously successful. You're expanding into Granite Bay, I think, next year. Tell us about the business side of things. How is the business? What is the market like for building a business that is doing plastic surgery?
Well, this came about basically because Dr. Kaufman and I have gotten so busy, which is great. And there was a fork in the road. Should we cut back? In our current space, there's just space constraints. Should we cut back? Should we build a bigger building together? Or, should I go out on my own? And it took me a while to really decide, but I've always had this itch I've wanted to scratch to do my own thing. And, I look at the trajectory. People keep seeking me out. There's a market for what I'm doing. So I'm like, I'm going to just jump and I'm going to go all in and I'm going to make my own space, a little closer to my home. So I'm excited about that.
Is it scary to take that risk? Because you're talking about building a building. And, I mean, there's a lot that goes into that.
I'm going from a stable, well-known situation to an unknown, and that's hard. One of the implant reps, until recently, she had thought about talking me out of this. She was like, "What are you doing? It's crazy." But after I sat down and explained my vision to her and why I wanted to do it, she's on board. So
we talked about learning today, and you come in the highest educated person in the studio, I believe. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I haven't checked with everybody in the studio, but you, Stanford, and so on. How did you learn the most about entrepreneurship and business? Well,
so I might have the most degrees, but I feel like I'm the least educated on entrepreneurship. I've been in business for 11 years, but I haven't really run it myself. So I'm going to be learning. I'm going to be your student and watching what you do. And I don't think you really know until you do it. So moving forward, I don't know what I don't know. So I think let's talk in a year.
Yes. I mean, to me, that's the most challenging piece is learning what you don't know and finding a way to fill in those gaps, because nobody's great at everything. I mean, you're obviously great at the product piece. You're great at performing the surgery and helping the client to achieve their goals. But the finance and the marketing and the building of things are different skill sets.
Yeah. And I think importantly, you need to find the good people, as you mentioned earlier, that can help you. I have a really great assistant who I could not have proceeded with this build out without her. She's gone to all the meetings in my, for me. And she does my marketing. So that's been wonderful. Meeting someone like Jessica as well.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Krista. Coming up after the break, we're going to bring on two more of the hottest entrepreneurs in town, Shauna Martins-Chrisman, co-owner of Destination Aesthetics Medical Spa, and our very own entrepreneurial realtor extraordinaire, Miss Erin Calty. And she has recently got married, so we're going to bring in and talk a little bit about that. This is Entrepreneurs Unlimited on Facebook Live, streaming on HaneyBiz.com and Sports 1140 KHDK, and we are going to a burpee break. I'm going to see if I can catch Jessica's burpee number, and we will be back, and I will be breathing hard in just a minute. Welcome back, and I am breathing hard.
You did awesome. So awesome.
Thank you. We have Shauna Martins-Chrisman, co-owner.
Hello.
Of... I'm still breathing hard. We have Shauna and we have Erin Calty, C&K Associates. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you, Mark?
Okay, good. I'm going to turn it over to Jessica while I catch my breath to help share the story of Erin and Shauna.
All right. So Erin, I met and actually brought her over to Haney and Garcia, or introduced her, and she's an awesome real estate agent and a phenomenal person. And funny enough, we're at CBS Radio, and that's where we met.
We did.
Yeah, this is where we
started.
This is where we met. Now, you too, you're building an entrepreneurial team.
We are.
You and Tiffany. Tell us about your team you're building.
So I am business partners with Tiffany Cansamilla. Together, we are Cansamilla Calty and Associates, and we hang our license over at Haney Garcia, which we love. So we are in the process of currently building our team. Tiffany and I have been in the business together this is going on our second year now. Tiffany's been in the business since 2007, so she's pretty seasoned, a little bit more seasoned than I am.
Well, I want to bring Shauna into the conversation as well. Shauna, tell us about your business. Tell us about Destination Aesthetics Medical Spa.
Destination Aesthetics is a medical spa that focuses on facial and body rejuvenation with non-surgical options. And so we offer cosmetic treatments like cosmetic injections, cosmetic laser, medical grade skincare, and body treatments.
And where are you guys located?
We are off of University Avenue over by Sac State. So
who are your clients?
Our clients basically are all ages. Jessica's raising her hand right now. We see teens who have acne. And we see all, full spectrum. I just did Botox on an 85-year-old woman just a few weeks ago. So, she hopped right up on the table, told me her email address, and was right on point. So,
did you make her look like 75, or what did you do?
It's amazing, obviously, but it is about how you look, but it's also how you feel, and that's, I think, why we're all in the business, and what motivates us is to make people feel better.
And I think as entrepreneurs, we're in a position to control our own destiny, right? If we want to have a one-office type of business, great. If we want to have 100 agents underneath us, we can do that. Tell us about your dreams, Erin.
Our dreams are honestly just to help people. The home buying process and the home selling process is such an emotional, you're just invested. So, our dream is just to build our business. We are really selective in regards to who we bring on the team. We like quality versus quantity. So we're very particular bringing people on that have the same mentality as we do. We come from an education standpoint with all of our clients. The real estate industry is always changing. There's new rules, new regulations. So we like to educate our clients through the process, whether buying or selling or even investing. So we want to make sure that we're bringing agents on under us that have that same mentality and have the education to be able to turn around and educate those clients.
And now, how did you learn about the business? Because we talked about this earlier, learning about entrepreneurship, it's kind of tough to do just by looking at a computer screen or getting a lecture. How did you learn?
You know what? We read a lot of books. We spend a lot of time reading articles. We watch very closely people that are building a business, people that are entrepreneurs. We talk to them, we interview them.
Real world entrepreneurs, wouldn't you know it?
Yes. I mean, I do remember us sitting down with you not too long ago and interviewing you. You know, we just learn from what people have done, and we kind of pick and choose based on what will work for our model, and we kind of come up with our own little formula. And that's what's
awesome.
worked.
How about you, Shauna? What are your dreams? What does your business look like today, and where do you see it longer term?
Well, we actually just expanded and moved our business from a 375 square space to a 3,000 square foot space in November. So we are kind of feeling those growing pains right now, and where we can really open our arms and market the way we want to and service a broader span of people because of an increased square footage. But where I see our business at right now is that we really want to educate people and make people feel like doing cosmetic treatments, whether they're surgical or non-surgical, that it's not about vanity. We say it's about, our hashtag is the new natural. So we want to make people feel confident that they can get treatments and still feel very natural, that they don't look altered, they don't look augmented, that they just feel great about themselves and they can, kind of rock it.
Do men come in there to get treated as well?
Oh, yes.
What's the percentage of men that come into your office?
It's still, like Krista Clark said, it's probably about an 85-15%. But men care how they look too. So it's about, we do cool sculpting for flanks and abdomen. That's very popular for men.
What is that?
That is body fat freezing. And so non-invasive, and there's no downtime. So guys can come in.
Body fat freezing.
Yes. And we have a cool sculpting suite.
That does sound a little bit painful.
Nope.
How do you do that? Okay, so you come in, you take the love handles,
yes,
and you freeze them?
We put them, you take the volume on the body and we put it into a handpiece, and it basically freezes and kills the fat cells permanently. And so we have a big screen TV. They can sit and watch ESPN. They can work. They can sleep. They can drink. They could do whatever they want and have their body fat frozen. But we do a lot of facial cosmetic procedures on men, Botox, for
what
facial
happens to the
and stuff.
fat after it freezes? Okay, so you squeeze the fat. It's frozen.
It's frozen.
And then does it go away?
It kills the fat cell permanently. It gets excreted by the body, just like the fat that we eat, and there's no downtime.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So we talked about this a little bit at the beginning of the show. Nobody is great at everything, right? It's hard to be great at finance and the science and the product and the marketing and the sales, right? It's tough to be great for any one of us to do that, to be great at all of it. What are you great at, Shauna?
Oh gosh, I'd probably say the best thing that I'm great at is just maximizing my time. Like everybody here, we have family, I have children, and I am the main practitioner at my business, and so you have to work all day, and then that's just work. You're not managing the business while you're working. So it's a matter of finding that balance, and I feel like I try to maximize my time as best I can using technology and also having a great support system with family and friends.
Now, you married your high school sweetheart. We were talking before the show. Is he involved in the business?
He's not involved in the business, but obviously very involved in our lives, and I couldn't do it without him, and also, extended family as well.
Yeah, you've got the kids that you've got to try to keep all the life balance going. How do you do it?
You know what? I don't think you have time to think about how you do it. You just have to make it work. And so it's all about planning and scheduling. And, unfortunately, I go to bed way too late. But it is what it is. And you have no choice. You just have to make it work.
Just make it work. How about you, Aaron? Right now, you've got you and Tiffany, and you're building a larger team. You're adding people to your team. What are you great at? And then how do you spread out the other aspects?
You know what? One thing that's really good about Tiffany and I is we're alike in a lot of ways, but we're very different in a lot of ways. I would say in my professional space, one of the things that I'm best at is negotiating. I'm a very aggressive negotiator, so...
Oh, I need you on my side. I want to maximize every dollar.
So we get great deals for our clients, buy, sell, or investing. Tiffany is really good at building rapport with clients. She is a mom of two. She's got a little baby boy and a 5-year-old beautiful daughter. So she is a little bit more relatable, I would say, into kind of that family arena. So she's just really good at kind of client intake, I guess you would say. She's definitely got that.
She's good with the people. Yeah. Now we talk about maximizing the investment. There's so many people in the real estate business today that are just playing matchmaker. Hey, I'll put you guys together and I'll take my commission. I'm not as concerned about maximizing the dollar for my client. Now, it sounds like that's your specialty right there.
It is. Tiffany and I, we build lifelong client relationships with all of our clients. If that client uses us one time, they're going to use us for the rest of their life. We're going to ensure that they have the absolute best experience from start to finish, which is really difficult in the real estate industry because there's so many moving parts. There's so many parties involved. You've got lenders, title reps, a listing agent, a buyer's agent. You've got both sides of the party. So there's always going to be hiccups in a transaction. We've never had a transaction without hiccups or speed bumps. It's just about us handling all of that for the client and advising them in regards to what the next step is going to be. We're solution based. We're not going to come to them with the problem. We're coming to them with our solution to handle what's going on.
And I want to bring Jessica back in. I'm sorry for dominating the conversation. Jessica, how do you work with these two and helping them to realize their dreams that may even be beyond business?
Yeah, so Erin's been training with me for, 5-6 years now.
Yeah.
So we've, just been accountability partners. So when you go back to where does this success come from? We both have business coaches. We both have spiritual coaches. We have accountability partners. And although it looks like on social media that the platform is really big, I think when it comes to us being successful, the core group is actually very small.
Very small.
Because we are talking about things that are so intimate and finances and personal dreams that we just, it's not something that you share with everyone. You want to know that they're invested in making sure that happens for you, just as we are invested in doing that for other people. With Shauna, I met her and instantly loved her platform for business. I saw the potential and I was with her in her old space and in her new space. And so, again, I work with the majority of women that use her services, and I don't want to refer my business to someone if it's not going to work out because they're not going to go to her first. They're going to come to me first, and I've had bad referral partners. And so when I brought Shauna on board as a referral source in my business, I knew that when they stepped into her facility, they would be taken care of, just like I do for Krista Clark. I don't have to think about it. I know that they're in good hands.
And now you wrote the book Awakened, Erin. Tell us about that book and what it means to you.
I wrote that book, it's been a long time. I really just wanted to kind of share my story in regards to circumstances and situations and horrible decisions that I had made, which really spiraled out of control into a horrible addiction for about 4 years. So I really just wanted to share my story of overcoming and what it's like, what Jessica was talking about earlier. I used substances to kind of mask feelings. And I really just wanted to share with people what it was like to sit in my feelings and be able to be open and honest and share, like Jessica was saying, that I'm hurt and I'm scared and I'm struggling. And it's really empowering to be able to put that type of vulnerability out there because people do see that as weak.
But you overcame that,
I
and
did.
that's the beauty. What would you, if there was a key to you overcoming this, what would it be?
You know what it comes down to, and people listening will probably say that's crazy, but it comes down to making a decision and sticking to that decision. I decided that I was no longer going to participate or live that type of lifestyle, and I walked away and I washed my hands clean and I've never looked back.
Can I jump in here, Mark?
Yeah.
When I met Erin, I said I was at CBS. We were actually working on an event together, and I thought she was rude. Like, she wasn't very personable. I was like, who is this girl running these hallways at CBS? Long story short, we were working on this event. We wanted to partner up. I could tell that she was a work ethic and a hustler, and I was like, I want to partner with her and do some things. And she sat me down and shared her story, on what happened, and just was like, I want you to know because if people Google it. And I knew from that day forward that was somebody I wanted to be in business with because she was so authentic. And I think that's the key to all the women that are here today is they're authentic and they love what they do, but they're the reason for what they do, they know what it is. And not a lot of people know what they stand for. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. So I think that's the biggest part. You can tell when somebody really knows what their purpose is and they're living that. And my whole thing is to help people get to their full potential.
And so many times we have a setback or tragedy in our lives, and those become the biggest learning experiences for us. Now, Shauna, you've obviously had a ton of success. Are there any down points in your life that have really helped you to be who you are today?
Well, actually, I was talking with people outside, and I actually was adopted from Korea, and so I was actually abandoned on a police doorstep in Seoul, Korea. And I was adopted by my family when I was 9 months old. And I feel that just the love and nurture that you get from family and colleagues and friends and mentors, that it's develops into who you are today. And I'm definitely attribute that experience into giving me strength. You know, you can kind of take something, a life incident, one way or the other. And I feel like that actually empowered me to say, look at what happened to me and what I can make of my life.
This is a true story, 3 true stories of you can too. Each of you faced with different circumstances that were extraordinarily challenging, yet you made the decision to figure out a way to overcome the odds, I guess, and kind of a story, 3 stories of you can too. And I think that's inspiring for all of us that are trying to build something different than what we have today. And I think that that's what this show is all about. So I want to thank you guys for coming on the show today. I also want to thank Krista Clark for joining us and sharing her entrepreneurial story. And I want to thank Jessica for spanking me in the burpee contest. Do we have the results of the burpee?
Thank you for giving me a run for my money, Mark.
I gave her a run. She had how many, Marcus, was it?
34 to 31.
34, and I had 31, and I'm still breathing hard. I'm still sweating. Look at her. She's calm, cool, and collected.
My job.
And I want to thank our sponsor, Limitless Limo, for offering up to take Jessica and her friends on a little ride because she won the bet. She won the challenge on burpees. And I'm going to have to probably work out a little bit and maybe call for a rematch at some point in the future. So coming up in the show, you are going to have some closing thoughts about how we learn. I'm going to bring Marcus back in, and we're going to talk a little bit more about how we learn. But next week, you're going to meet some of Sacramento's true movers and shakers. You're going to meet the one and only Denton Kelly. Denton will be sharing the mic with my rock star business partner, Mr. Todd Big Daddy Flowers. This is Entrepreneurs Unlimited on Facebook Live, broadcasting from Sports 1140 KHTK, streaming live podcast and YouTube at HaneyBiz.com. And we're back here with the new, I'll call it chick music that Tim has recommended for today's show.
Getting in touch with my family.
Tim, nice job. We're back here with Tim Mulligan and Marcus Haney, and we've had we got the smell of perfume here in the room, and we're talking about learning. We started off the show talking about where you learn, and I think we all kind of agreed where you learn is important, but it's not so much where you learn as what you learn and why you learn it, when you learn it, and even how you learn it. Tim, would you agree?
Absolutely. Learning's, anything worth doing is painful. More painful, I would suggest, than a burpee. Not that I can do one, I can't. But anyway, it's you just got to be open to it.
And Jessica talked, I know you were listening during the show, but Jessica talked about the most important thing to learn for her was passion. So you think about what you need to know. Don't we need to know what's inside of ourselves first?
Yeah. You got to have that drive, to have that appetite to get to that next level.
Yeah, knowing what you do. And sometimes you're reading a computer screen or listening to a lecture or being yelled at by your drill sergeant, Marcus, you might not, it might not tell you what your passion is all about. But on the other hand, it might. Marcus, you learned some stuff in the Marine Corps that probably helped you discover who you are inside.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I was speaking earlier about, I learned what kind of leader I want to be versus, learned from the leadership, bad and good, and decided what kind of leader I want to be for growing a business.
And why we learn as entrepreneurs, obviously what we learn, we have to learn what's inside of us to start. And there's so many other things that we need to learn as business people and entrepreneurs. But why? If we don't have a why inside of us, if we don't have a reason to learn it, if there's nothing driving us, does it really sink in if it's not our dream that we're chasing, if we're chasing it for our parents? It doesn't really sink in.
No,
I don't think so either.
A small percentage of it does.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I remember sitting in college classes for accounting forever ago, and at that time I wasn't thrilled with being there, but because I wanted to go out and apply it. I wanted just let me in the game, just let me go out and work and contribute and see what happens, kind of thing. So that was kind of my driver. That said, all that book stuff was important. I wasn't going to learn
it matters, especially you're a CPA. It matters, and for our doctor, you have to have the certification to play the game, just to be in the game. But so many times, that's not the differentiator that brings out the greatness in you. Brings out the greatness in you is what you learn about yourself and the drive that you have, the reason why when you have a reason behind what you're doing. You have how many kids? 5 kids, Tim?
Yes.
You got a reason to put food on the table for your family. You got a reason to build something. And I think so many times, we focus on where we're going to be. And you know what? It's all around us. There's learning all around us every day. And sometimes it's about the timing. If we're not ready, if we have the why, we know what we want to learn, but the timing's not right. And I think so many times it's these challenging times in our life when you really pick up things, or maybe the great times like the state championship football team that Del Oro had. These guys are learning things about life, about who they are inside. And so I would submit to you that when we learn is so important. I learned a lot during the financial crisis of 2008 when I had to make some extremely difficult decisions. I had to learn things when these girls, when they're starting a company. It's the timing that matters too. But as I kind of, my closing thoughts are just, it's so much more about how you learn, right? How we learn is so important. They talked about talking to real world entrepreneurs. I would submit to you that the best way to learn is hands-on. The best way to learn is by doing it yourself, by living it yourself. And I want to tell a quick story about the Salpinkus sisters. And they were 70 years old. I'm delivering TVs and appliances for my mom and dad. And my job is to deliver them and then do the setup and instruct. I would teach people how to operate their electronics. And I was delivering to the Salpinkus, and every few months they would order a couple of radios. And I would go over to the house and I would deliver the radios to the Salpinkus sisters. And when I knock on the door, they would greet me and hug me and touch my hair. And the Salpinkus sisters were old and they were blind. They were buying these radios to donate to other blind people, and they needed to understand how to work them. And so they would grab with their cold hands, put their hands on mine, and they would get so excited about how to operate the controls of the radio. They would get so excited, and they became masters at operating a radio. And I learned at that time that by being hands-on, that's really how you learn. And sometimes when you learn that being hands-on, it's what you have inside, but sometimes it's when you go without. Like the Salpinkus sisters, they didn't have their sight, and they were the best learners with the radio. Never above you, never below you, always by your side.